We are the children of world benefactor. So each one of us, we have to be master world benefactor. It is like sun and moon. Sun gives the rays of light to the whole world, and same is the light of the moon. I also has to go above, beyond everything of this physical world. And while taking light and might from Baba, I have to spread rays of light and pure and elevated vibrations so that these vibrations can help the souls to take right directions and move towards sweet home, liberation, and liberation in life. It's the time of extreme darkness, and the souls are completely in clutches of five vices. Their intoxication of material things is temporary. Now, as we are preparing for returning home and for the new world, we want everyone to move in this direction, to think of home and create new world of peace and happiness. So we take Drishti from Baba.
तो जो काम मुझ आत्मा को अपनी स्थिति बनाने का और स्थिति से स्नेही संयोगी रहने का मेरे को जो भगवान ने सिखाया है, समझाया है, प्रैक्टिकली कर्म करके दिखाया है, वो छोड़ के फुल स्टॉप कैसे दूं? फिर क्वेश्चन उठे, फिर कभी आश्चर्य खाऊं, मैं नहीं समझा था ये मेरे से होगा। अरे हुआ है तो क्या हुआ है, नथिंग न्यू, समथिंग न्यू होने वाला होगा। एक सेकंड में जवाब है, नथिंग न्यू। कल पहले हुआ था, अभी समथिंग न्यू सीन आने वाली है। जवाब आश्चर्य लगता ही नहीं है। इतना ज्ञान को अंदर गुप्त यूज करने से सदा सतह योगी रह सकती है। यूज करें ज्ञान को। फुल स्टॉप में बीती को चितो नहीं, सामने जो आए क्वेश्चन उठाओ नहीं, आंसर मिल जाएगा, थोड़ा धीरज रख। घड़ी घड़ी क्वेश्चन ये क्यों, चुप रहो, शांत हो जाएगा। आश्चर्य मत खाओ, नथिंग न्यू। ऐसी आत्मा जो अडोल अचल रहने वाली, जैसे अपने स्वमान में है, अपने शान में है, जो सिन पास होती जा रही है। ड्रामा बेचारी क्या करा, जैसा बाबा वैसा बच्चा। जिसको मैंने तेरा तेरा कहा, उसने कहा तो साक्षात मेरा स्वरूप हो। अनासक्त वृत्ति नष्ट हो मोहा, कोई में आसक्ति नहीं, किसी में मोह नहीं। बाबा मेहरबानी आपकी, आपकी मेहरबानी मेरे ऊपर है। थैंक्स क्या दूं? आपकी मेहरबानी ने एक क्या कितनी शब्दों में दूं, है ही नहीं। आपकी मेहरबानी से तो दया, रहम और फिर उसकी मेहरबानी से आज हम बाबा आपके पास बैठे हैं। समझा? ओम शांति। थैंक यू बाबा, थैंक यू आप, थैंक यू मेरे को, मेरे भाग्य को। हाँ, ओम शांति।
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vikti Parivar. Today is day 9, Diamond Dadi. Remembrance. I'm unique. Now we'll be listening to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. Dadi's few words are so powerful. Just few minutes of Dadi's company, listening to Dadi, creates so much love for Baba, enthusiasm, and power. This must be your experience also. That's what I was experiencing. If every day we listen few words of Dadi, get so refreshed, right? Remembrance of Baba. Of course, everything is based on churning, manan chintan of knowledge. To be practical whole day, if we can spend even 1 minute or half a minute of remembrance of Baba before starting every action, how many actions we do whole day? We drink water how many times? We eat food, we cook food, we drive, or whatever, how many actions we do whole day. And if I keep aim just one moment or few moments of Baba's remembrance before doing action, can really make our remembrance very consistent, very natural, and we will experience many benefits of that. One of the most important thing in life is how do I discern and decide? Very important powers. And to keep our attitude completely clean, as Dadi had been saying, nothing from the past, don't remember past. And remembrance is the only way to clean the attitude. Because when we talk about burning the sins or sinful actions through fire of yoga, so that way we are conquerors of vices and matter. But very, very subtle traces which are left in the soul to become flawless diamond. It is important to have remembrance of Baba. It's the very, very through remembrance, because remembrance is something you can't just do in a gross way, something very subtle. Let's say you are remembering a person, it's not visible, only you know, oh, I'm thinking of that person, or I'm thinking of some of the relative or a situation. It's very subtle, isn't it? It's not visible, but it has influence, effect. So same is remembrance of Baba. Today I had been few times thinking that how important it is in our lives to remember Baba, because then right type of virtues, right type of powers emerge at that time. Otherwise, there is so much influence of sanskars, of our surroundings, of situations. Now, as I really connected with that, the true service is when I'm in remembrance of Baba. True service will happen. We all are doing routine service, whatever has to be done. But the way Baba wants us to do service, through our thoughts, words, and actions, is only possible when I increase my remembrance of Baba. Because not only it will make attitude clean or increase the percentage of purity, but also God's powers will also work with me. I think that you all must be thinking, and that he said something new will happen, something great will happen. It's only through us, isn't it? How will it happen? Even if Baba has to make it happen, but it is through us. So I have to prepare myself. So today I really felt how important it is for all of us to have remembrance of Baba, so that soul can be Sato Pradhan, thoughts can be elevated, and very, very pure feelings, all the time, pure feelings, which sustains me and sustains others also. So remembrance is very important. And that also while doing actions. Because yes, we do Amrit Vela, we can sit meditation in the evening, we do traffic control, but do it with every action. You sit in the car, you have to drive, take a moment, remember Baba. Hmm? You have to make chapatis, remember Baba, and start. Everyone walks with the bottle of water. So every time you take a sip, remember Baba. Can we do that, right? It's easy, no? Mm. So that water which I drink is not only uh, healthy, makes body healthy, but also internal deep uh, purification and whatever are the needs of soul and body, mind, intellect, and body, through remembrance, all these needs will be fulfilled. You know, how much we think about nutrition in the food. Does it have vitamins? Does it have protein? No? How much thoughts come? And then we select what we're going to eat or cook. But that is very good to do. But with that, if there is also remembrance, imagine how will nutrition work in our body very, very beautifully. Otherwise, you can have nutrition, but elements are tamo pradhan and nothing is pure, right? And that is why whenever we cook food, we offer to Baba to purify. When we eat, we think of Baba. So this remembrance should be seen as fulfilling all what is needed by soul and body. Not only that, but the energy of being Sato Pradhan. Mhm. Very, very clean. Every time there is an influence of a situation or a person or sanskars, if I am in remembrance, it gets clean. And as I had mentioned that if we are holding anything, it has a big influence when I'm deciding something. It's so interesting. I know once I went somewhere, so my because of storm, my flight was delayed. Keep delaying, but ultimately I reached in the evening. So I was at airport all day. I had to leave after 2 days to return to New York. So my host, wherever I went, said, "Oh, I hope your flight is in time." I said, "It will be earlier today because it was late that day, so it will be early." Because that's how generally I think that, okay, whatever is over, now will be something better. So we came to airport very early in the morning and there was no nor traffic on the road nor at the airport. So flight left 10 minutes earlier because it's our thinking, oh, this might happen again. Yes, caution and care is all right, but to bring back that thought is really creating similar situations. And so many times I always say, okay, it is over now, now something different and good will happen. But if I think same way, hmm, it never happens same way. Scene will be different. And my thoughts should be elevated so I can enjoy that scene. So many times I have this experience. Whatever happened, happened now, something good, better will happen. But generally what we think, not allow many, many beautiful things in the life to happen. But if we are Baba's children, always think this happened, it's gone now, something better. That's why I like Dadi Janki's words, as she said. something great will happen. Always think that way. Now, something great will happen. That will keep our energy very, very high. So, remembrance of Baba, hmm, to keep us on right track, help us to decide so that we can always think elevated, speak elevated, do elevated actions. And as much I do that, uh, there is this whole feeling at confluence stage. Each one of us, we have different part to play. Even to have this thought, oh, maybe I could be like this one or that one, it's not going to happen. So while playing my part, each one of us should remember I am unique. I have my own specialties. I have my own part to play. Never compare. Why should I compare? Or I don't need to compete with anyone. I know since I am young Brahmin, I always say inheritance is from God, no? I have to please God. I don't have to please anyone. And if Master is pleased, everyone will be pleased. I have to make efforts to move towards my stage of perfection. In efforts, yes, I can take inspiration, I can take company, I can learn, but I will have to do, right? So to have this contentment and focus on what I am and I have to be. And as much I focus on that, my energy is so much in concentration. I'm not looking around. Even like so many people share experiences, so many these days you see it and hear it. I always say, but my experience has to be my experience. I have to experience it. Same is, I always love to hear Dadi Janki's Manan Chintan. Always. But I always had my own internal way of doing Manan Chintan. So Dadi Janki, whenever I will talk, Dadi will say, I want to hear. I want to hear what she's saying. Dadi, you share so many beautiful things, but I like to hear. Because you take benefit, but you don't lose your identity, right? In the sense of what I have to do, my part, responsibilities, or whatever Baba wants me to be instrument for. So one doesn't compare. And when you don't compare, there's a lot of contentment. Because no boutique, they call it like one piece. So each one of us, we are unique, each one. Even when you look at physically twins, right? Even they look same, but there will be difference you could see. In the same way, every soul has different part to play. You can be in the gathering, you can be with the team. So I maintain my individual thinking, my churning, my efforts, and yoga, right? But still, I am together, lot of cooperation with everyone, lot of love with everyone, be part of whatever team is there. I always enjoy and I like it very much and learn a lot too. But learn is not to copy anything from anyone, but becoming sensible, understanding more clearly. So through remembrance, I identify my part. There is difference between role one has to play and part one has to play. Mhm. Let's say I have been assigned a duty which I have to do. So that's the role I am playing. But how do I play it is my part. And so we all are different and we will be different. So I don't compare nor I compete with anyone. Why I need to compete? I have my own fortune. Bestower of fortune has given me my fortune. Sometimes looking at fortune of other, yes, we appreciate, but not be jealous, right? Oh, I wish I had that part. No, each one has very, very good part, very special part. And you should be very joyful about your own part because everyone has one's own story. Even in Brahmin life, everyone shares, right? What is my story? How to Baba came to knowledge, what I did, where I went, what kind of service I did, where Baba sent me. It is very, very lovely this way. You are loving, but also you are very detached. We are cooperating, following uh, just for cooperation so that we can be together. And there is no ego involved in that. It's self respect of my own part. So, remaining in that self respect, understanding of my part, and play it properly. That will be the thought we take from Dadi Janki as one of the facet. She always used to say, look at my height. I'm so small. But she was big because she maintained self respect and she jumped on any stage, any service, any task. Mm. Even she loved to cook. So wherever she went, stoves are high, she will stand on the stool and start cooking. Never aware of her physical identity, but more about what specialty she has, and then let me do it. Very beautifully. Can look at that. It's a big, big inspiration for all of us of courage, of enthusiasm, of faith in Baba, self trust, all beautiful qualities. So we will reflect on that, churn on, understand your part, and play it very beautifully. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So now it's time for Manan Chintan, the art of churning. I'd like to invite Sister Shireen.
Om Shanti, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I was enjoying Dadi's sharing, like Didi was sharing. It was so short and powerful. I really liked what she was sharing about nothing new. And I was thinking that if we apply that nothing new concept to remembrance, it's going to be easy for us. And one of the things that I feel is important to understand about remembrance with what Didi was sharing today is the why and the how. We first need to understand why is it that we need to increase our remembrance. And I loved what Didi was sharing, that it has to be drop by drop, second by second, moment by moment. And so the example she was giving is that the whenever you are doing a task, whether it's eating or driving or talking or whatever, before every action, you increase the drop by drop by drop. But before I go into the how, I want to share with you why is it that we need to increase our remembrance and become consistent with it. And so Didi shared about 8 points on why is it that we need to increase our remembrance. She was sharing that remembrance is the only way to clean our attitude. So that's the first why. The second one, it is very subtle and it is not very visible. And so when we increase our remembrance, then we don't get influenced. The third one is she was sharing that true service really is remembrance. Remembrance really is true service. So I was thinking that actually we remember Baba, we receive power from Baba, and then through that remembrance and through that power, then service happens. And then the fourth one is God's powers work with me. When I have remembrance, then God's powers work with me. And the fifth one of why is that only through us that God can perform miracles. Dadi was sharing, something will happen and something great will happen. And Didi was saying, yes, something will happen, but it will happen through us, and it will happen through us only when we have remembrance. And the sixth one is remembrance gives us power to the body. So it is fulfills what is needed both by the soul and the body. And that is why we need to increase our remembrance. And then the seventh one of why is discern and decide powers are attained through remembrance. And the eighth one is she was sharing that of her experience with being delayed by flight, and so that we shouldn't be scared and we should allow things to happen, that we shouldn't let our past experiences decide our future experiences, and to be able to allow good things to happen, then we need to have remembrance. And so those were the why. And now that we know why we need to have, Didi shared 5 ways in which we can increase remembrance. How can we increase remembrance? The first one is that remembrance really, this is how can we increase remembrance? The first one is that remembrance really increases when we increase our manan chintan. That is how to increase it. The second on how is that even if we spend, and this is when that drop by drop, that even if we spend 1 minute, a few moments before we do any action, that is how we increase. And I really like that. And tomorrow that, and actually from now, I'm going to really very consistently do that, is just before any action, just take a few minutes and remember Baba. That's the second one. And the third one of how is we shouldn't remember the past. If we don't remember the past, then we leave the soul open to remembering Baba. And the fourth on how is that our thoughts have to be very elevated. If our thoughts are not elevated, then remembrance doesn't happen. And the fifth of how is we have to have pure feelings. So those are the 5. So when we have pure feelings, then we increase our remembrance. So finally, what I got from what Didi was sharing was my actions have to be side by side with remembrance. And if my actions are side by side with remembrance and they're consistent with my remembrance, then my intellect doesn't become dull. Then I increase my power to discern and decide, and that in turn helps me have more remembrance. Om Shanti. Thank you. And so tomorrow's point for churning, each soul has his, her own individual part. Don't compare or compete. There is no point. I cannot become like anyone else. I am who I am, unique. What a beautiful picture of Dadi. She must be so young here in her early 20s. Om Shanti Didi.
We used to tell Dadi, never think that you are small. Even your body is small, but wisdom she had unlimited, and the courage and power. And, you know, she's really, really example for everything what Baba says. And it is not just the churning but you can see because of her reflection and churning, Manan Chinta, she was becoming same time. Because when you are listening and you are not able to do churning, like Shireen, you also has good way to churn because you listen and you are churning and you are writing down the points. So you are capturing because of churning or because you want to learn, you know. So learning, churning helps us with catching power. And when there is touching and catching power, that also helps us a lot to move forward. So I can also see that quality in you that you also are able to get 8 points, 10 points, 5 points. And one of the good way to brief something, summarize something is always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For me, it's always difficult. So I just flow and I say whatever my experiences are or my churning is, but you do it very well by putting it into numbers and clarify in brief. So churning definitely helps us to become, but churning also comes because I want to learn. I want to capture everything as it is so that I can implement them in practical. So Dadi was example of that, and all Dadis they sat together every time they just doing this. They call it spiritual chit chat, and everyone is saying, "Oh, I thought this. This is what Baba said. This must be the meaning." All the time they did it. Whenever it's not, they were not busy. Mhm. We always have this thing. Oh, I am busy. It has become like a big excuse, but it's deceiving to one's own self. Because if we want, we can do. Why not? We spend 10 minutes, sit and reflect on. Same is remembrance. Oh, I'm so busy, I forgot. Actually, when you are busy, you have to remember more, right? So that you don't have that stress of busyness. Your intellect is still very, very much connected with Baba. So these days, this busy service has become like, I feel really, really sorry. Sometimes I say, when will these souls attain what Baba wants us to attain? But there is only thought, I have to serve, I have to do service, I have to, it's very, very external in a way. So I loved it when Baba said, true service will happen through remembrance. Because then my quality, my inner silence and peace, whatever power I get, So when I speak, give knowledge to the soul, it will touch them, no? And not only that, but lot of right kind of souls will come, which are needed for task of establishment. Otherwise, they come, they go, some take, some don't. But how do we create those air quality souls? Is only if I have this in practically. Remember, Baba. So when I think of olden days and how efforts should be, I find that few are doing it. There's lack of attention on to have remembrance and to have that deep, deep honesty, clarity. So struggle continues of comparison, of not happy, not satisfied, for little unnecessary things. Otherwise, I have self respect, I have my part, I have to do what I have to do. And Baba is the one who will guide me all the time. Even he is not visible, but he constantly guide and drama will create lot of many big opportunities. I just have to be ready for that. So I really feel if we all can do that, could be great achievement and we will fulfill Dadi Janki's hopes also. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Awake the Journey Night Class. Deep love for the jewels of knowledge.
तुम आत्मा रूपी दीपक को जगाते हैं, हर एक के घर का दीप जलता है, अतः आत्मा की ज्योति जगती है, वह स्थूल दीपक जगाते, लेकिन तुम्हारा सच्चा दीपक शिव बाबा के आने से जगता है। इसे तुम खूब धामधूम से शिव जयंती मनाओ। ओम शांति।
सदस्य चक्रधारी जैन कुलभूषणों को हनुमत वनवासियों की नमस्ते।
ये पॉइंट है ना बच्ची, ये समझने की बहुत। जो पहले पावन है तो आकर के पिछाड़ी में पढ़ते हैं, फिर पिछाड़ी वाले पहले पावन होके जाएंगे। तो नंबरवार जैसे कि पावन होना पड़ेगा नहीं सब, तो तुम नंबरवार देखो पावन हो रहे हो, सब एक जैसे नहीं है, नहीं पुरुषार्थी है सब, कोई कम कोई जाति, कोई पावन बनते फिर पतित बन जाते हैं, कोई पावन बनने से फारकती दे देते हैं पतित पावन को। तुम फारकती कभी नहीं देना, डाइवोर्स नहीं देना, तुम डाइवोर्स नहीं देना और बच्चों को फारकती नहीं देनी है। चला ठीक है ना बच्चे? भले बैठे बैठे चलो भगवान को गुटकाता है, चलो वो बोलते नहीं हमको पैसा जो हम धंधा करेंगे, शादी करेंगे, फलाना करेंगे, मरा। तो कोई नेम थोड़ी है बच्चे, कोई का भी नेम नहीं है। कोई भी वक्त में माया नाक से क्यों को चलते चलते उनकी चलन को बाबा झट समझ जाते हैं। ये कैसे ये चलन चलते हैं हम बाप से, ये बाप से वर्षा ले लेंगे, बाप के दिल पर चढ़ता जाता है, या कोई न कोई कुछ न कुछ ऐसी चलन चलते हैं जो बाप समझ जाते हैं कि ये दिल पर न चढ़ सकेगा। तो चाल ऐसी चाहिए बच्चों की, सो भी तुम बच्चों को कहे नहीं, देखो सबको ब्राह्मण बनाते हैं, बच्ची थोड़ी अक्षर कोई बहुत थोड़ी कहते हैं। बाप का परिचय दिया तो भी सच्ची ब्राह्मणी है। मूल बात है भगवान कौन, बस भगवान कौन, तो फिर तो बाकी तो सहज है नहीं। सत्रेता द्वापर का रही ये चक्कर को याद करना कोई बड़ी थोड़ी बात है, बाप को याद करना कोई बड़ी थोड़ी बात है। बाप को याद करना है, पवित्र बनना है, चक्कर को समझना है, बाबा जैसे समझाए तो कालदर्शी और चक्रवर्ती राजा बनना है। और बनना फिर उन्हीं को है जो थे पहले। तो ये तो किसको मालूम नहीं, बुद्धि में किसके थोड़ी बैठते हैं। पतित पावन आएगा तो जरूर, परंतु ये कोई थोड़ी समस्या पतित पावन आएंगे तो भारतवासी जो पहले पावन थे सूर्यवंशी वही तो स्थापन करने आएंगे नहीं। तभी तो कहते हैं मैं आज सनातन देवी देवता धर्म की स्थापना करता हूँ। सनातन देवी देवता धर्म वाले पावन थे, वही पतित बन गए हैं 84 जन्म पाए करके। फिर बोलता है मैं उनको धर्म स्थापन कर रहा हूँ। तो पहले उनको पावन करना पड़े ना बच्ची, वही आएंगे पावन बनने के लिए, समझने के लिए। तो ऐसी ऐसी जो मुख्य पॉइंट है, धारणा होनी है। न उनका कोई तकदीर में तो धारणा नहीं होगी, न फिर कोई को धारणा करा सकेंगे। ये तो तकदीर हो ही नहीं, फिर ये सहारे का अपना कर्म का हिसाब। जैसे स्कूल में बच्चे पढ़ते हैं तो भी कर्म का हिसाब हुआ ना। कोई 100 मार्क्स से पास होते, कोई 50 से, कोई 40 से, कोई 10 से, कोई नापास। ये क्या कहेंगे बच्चे? वो भी कर्म न है इनके भाग्य में। ये चाहते तो सब कोई है, पर जो नहीं पास हो सकते हैं, नहीं पढ़ सकते हैं। चाहते क्यों नहीं? सभी बेचारी चाहती है हम बाबा मामा जैसा हो, शायद जाने फला नहीं होते हैं। क्योंकि इसमें मेहनत बच्ची बहुत चाहिए, हर एक बात में मेहनत चाहिए। एक तो देह अभिमान बहुत छोड़ना पड़ते हैं, समझे? देह अभिमान छोड़ करके आत्म अभिमानी बने। देह अभिमान होने से लागत लगेगी देहों से, देह अभिमानी की देहों से लागत लगती रहेगी। इनसे लगी, इनसे लगी, इनसे लगी। देह अभिमानियों का देह मन से प्यार होते हैं नहीं। ये बच्चे अशरीरी भाव है, यानी अपन को आत्मा निश्चय करो। अपने देह और कोई के देह के साथ और प्यार नहीं करो। प्यार से आत्मा कहती है मैं बाबा आप आएंगे तो मैं आपसे ही प्यार करूंगी और कोई से न करूंगी। अगर कोई से दूसरे से करूंगी तो पदभ्रष्ट होंगी, ऐसे समझो। तो मेहनत है ना बच्ची। अब ये अवस्था जो और कोई को भी न याद रहे और बस पिछाड़ी में अंत मते सागत, ऐसी मेहनत करे तब विजय माला में पहुंच सकते हैं।
बाबा मेरे साथ है, बाबा मेरे साथ है, हाथों में उसके हाथ है। बाबा मेरे साथ है, सांझ सवेरे मन में मेरे, सांझ सवेरे मन में मेरे, प्यार की बरसात है। बाबा मेरे साथ है, बाबा मेरे साथ है।
Om Shanti. Thank you. So now it's time for our Toli blessing, right? But see what's new Toli we had today.
Truly, as soon as I saw it, looked so good. Yeah, I think you all had dinner. You can have as dessert. Or if you have to eat dinner, you can have it before. I really feel and I wish if we can send Toli to everyone. But I'm sure you can make some of the Toli. This is also very simple. Okay. Om Shanti. Om Shanti and be a karma yogi. Just one moment of remembrance before starting every action. You will see amazingly how consistent your remembrance will become and transformation which will happen. Just a moment, not saying 1 minute, a moment of remembrance before starting every action, whether drinking water or eating or any action you begin. Just remember Baba first and then start. Good night, everyone. Om Shanti.